Hey guys, it is Kudo Crochet, and unfortunately, this video I am not going to be discussing on yarns nor like projects that I'm working on and so forth. If you guys saw my last community post, some of you do know that something bad happened to our family. Now, I have to say there are some things that I am grateful for after what happened. So I'm gonna just jump right into it because I really don't want to make this video too long. I want to get this off my chest and let you guys know the whole story of what happened. So the morning of Friday last week, I don't know what day that was, but it was last Friday in the morning. I woke up and usually the first person I see is my mom. So my mom was in the living room working as usual because she does work from home twice a week. So one of the first things she does say to me was what happened during the night. She let me know that there were thieves around 3 o'clock in the morning that were going around our neighborhood and trying to open cars open, like they were trying to see what cars were open. And so, but okay, let's do this one at a time. So what I did was I looked back on my phone because we do have a camera system. Unfortunately, the video that recorded them, and this is like right in front of our driveway. We have 3 cameras right in front of right in front of the driveway, one showing the front porch, and then the third one is on the side of the house, or on the left side of the house. So in the footage, it does record the time, and unfortunately the video that I saw was only 10 seconds long. Me and my mom were just like, what the hell? Why is it only 10 seconds when, it would have been nice if it was a little bit longer so we could see everything that they're doing, if they took anything out and so forth. So anyways, that's besides the point. So, yeah, I looked at the video and I was in absolute disbelief because we've never ever experienced anything like that. I mean, I'm 34 and I've never, as a family, we have never ever dealt with any type of crime happening to us as a family. Now, individually, yeah, I've went through a I mean, especially most of the time it was in college. And one of those stories I will get into because there's additional information that I really want to get out and let you guys know why me and my father suspect who we think it is. But of course, we didn't go accusing because, first of all, we don't know exactly where they live. Okay? We don't know their names. But what we do know is that, okay, so let me start from the beginning of why we suspect it was them. So, since the pandemic started, there was 3 to 4 occasions, and this is before we installed cameras at our house. Okay, we were just one of the houses in this neighborhood that did not have cameras whatsoever. Now, I'm thinking maybe we were the only ones that didn't have cameras. I don't know. Who knows? But anyways, so the first incident was probably the scariest, to be honest, because it was around like close to, I think it was between 10 p.m. to midnight. It was around that time. It's definitely at nighttime. And we hear a really loud banging sound. And at first we thought it was my brother, because sometimes he'll toss and turn in his bed, and it's so loud that like he'll bang into the wall, and you could hear it in the first, because we have like two types of living rooms, or two living rooms in our house. So you can hear it in the first living room, because his room is right part of the front house, or front of the house. So anyways, so that's what we thought it was. But then a few minutes later, after that, the first really loud knocks, another set of loud knocks happened to us. And I'm like, I don't think that's my brother. I think someone's actually knocking on our door. But my mom and I think my dad was insisting, oh, that's just your brother. Oh, you know. But it happened a third time. And so I was like, no, this is from our door. There's no way. I can tell the difference. So my father decides to open the door. No one was there. Okay, no one was there. So I was like, okay, maybe I was wrong. And but then, like, after he closed the door a few minutes later, there was another set of loud, I mean, it was really loud knocks. I mean, it's one of those scary, like, loud noises that just, like, you jump scare, And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm telling you, there's someone out there. And I actually looked, and so first of all, in hindsight, I have to say, during that time, I was a little, like, I wasn't using my brain, I wasn't using my noodle. I looked through the peephole. Okay, this is the scary part here. This is what I looked through the peephole, and there's a person slowly walking up to the door in a hoodie, and the front door lights are off. So this is what I'm saying. I wasn't using my noodle, because what I should have done was turn on the lights so I can see this person's face. But I think because I was so creeped out and scared at the same time of what I'm seeing in the peephole, I like, now I can completely understand why some people have a slow reaction to what's happening, and that was one of those moments for me. So I was whispering to my mom, there's someone out there. And then the person bangs on her door again. And then my dad, like, quickly opens the front door, and he says, what are you doing? And no one was there. No one. And I was like telling them, I swear I saw someone through the peephole. He was wearing a hoodie and all that. So then my brother, like, because he got annoyed with all the noises that's happening, and we're telling him the situation. And just so you know, he has a license to carry a gun. So he does have a gun in his room. And what he did was, he got his handgun, he went outside and walked around the house and went up and down the street to see if he saw anyone. And I think he said he saw, like, a kid or two running away or something like that, but they didn't see him, but he saw them running. But of course my brother didn't, like, yell or anything, because they were, like, running away. So, and he thought, oh, they're just kids. So that's why me and my dad are suspecting it was, because just so you know, there was like 3 guys that we saw on the camera in hoodies. I mean, everything was covered up from their fingertips. They were wearing gloves, they were wearing hoodies, and you can't see, and they really scrunched up their hoodie so you can't see their face. And that's why we suspect them, the teenagers that were, and like I said, they did that to us in the last 3 years, like 4 times. The last time they did that knocking was last year okay, this is the crazy part. They did it during Thanksgiving, during the daylight time, which was a first because usually it was always at nighttime that they did it. And actually, and we were so thankful that we had two neighbors that saw them, and one of them went to go chase after them. And we were explaining the situation to our neighbor across the street, what's been happening to us. And so it finally convinced us to install cameras in our house, because that's why they were targeting us, is because we didn't have cameras around our house. So we finally installed cameras last year, and they stopped doing that. So we were like, okay, it's over. Like, they're not going to bug us anymore. But now with this, because there was a white car in the camera, and there could have been a fourth person that was just sitting in the car, that was their getaway car, or maybe it was only just three of them, but they were all three went out. Because in the camera we saw one guy walking across from our neighbor across the street to our house, because we already had one guy, and this is and please remember to lock your doors on your cars, guys, please, because my brother forgot to lock his doors that one day, and that's why his car easily got ransacked. Well, the good news is they didn't take anything. My brother had nothing valuable in his car. I mean, there was like packs of Black and Mild, which is a type of cigar brand, but they didn't even take that. So I guess they don't smoke, I don't know, but there was nothing valuable to them. Now my brother did say he had like papers about something to do with money or payment that was on the passenger seat, but they didn't take that. So I guess, whatever. That's why I was thinking maybe it may not be adults. I'm hoping they are adults. I really hope they're adults, because if they're teenagers, from doing ding dong ditching, whatever you call that, to in the middle of the night trying to break into people's cars and steal, like, they're getting bolder and bolder and bolder. But like I said, me and my father didn't go going around accusing people. Like, we don't have evidence, okay? And anyways, so we could not call the cops right away about what happened, because my brother, like, my father I forgot to. So my dad took a late nap, so he woke up really late, like around 10 o'clock p.m. and he was watching TV in the living room by himself. Everyone was pretty much asleep, and I don't think he realized what was happening until he finally looked on his phone, because there is another footage of my dad going outside to open my brother's car door and see if anything was taken or who knows what. Because what I'm extremely grateful for is that my father did not come out when they were doing that, because you may never know. They could have had some type of weapon, whether it's a gun or a knife. They could have like attacked him. And I know my dad has a brown belt in Taekwondo. So if he had the chance to actually go out there and, defend my brother's property or his son's property, he will, So I really am grateful that he didn't actually, and this is what's crazy. They were doing all of that stuff really fast, because it was 20 minutes later, I think, give or take, that my father went out to see what just happened. But yeah, I'm really grateful that he didn't go outside when it was actually happening, because anything could have happened. That's what really shook me after, like, just seeing the videos, because I could have lost my dad that night or that morning. And okay, I'm gonna try not to get emotional about this, because that is not one way I would want my father to go, to be honest. I don't think anyone would want their family member to go that way. But yeah, I'm really extremely grateful that that didn't happen to us. So I'm glad that no one, and we weren't even, like I said, we weren't the only house that this happened to. So anyways, I was getting to the point of the police. So my brother went to work. My father told him what happened, but he just got this new job. He started like 2 months ago. So he's like, well, I gotta go to work. And so we couldn't go to the or we couldn't call the cops till after he came home from work. So that's when we called the cops somewhere around the afternoon, like around 5, no, like more like 5:30, 5:40, around 6 o'clock, let's just say that. So we had 3 cop cars. We had 3 cops on the scene, and they talked to my brother, and my mom did all the calling. So it was my mom and my brother that was talking to the cops. I stayed inside, but I was peeking through the door, and one of the cops was really cute, guys. But anyways, but okay, so they did their routine of asking questions, what was missing, and blah blah blah, and they actually went door to door, if it happened to them. And so we have a neighbor that's like right in the corner of our little area of the neighborhood, and he has really good, like, he has a vantage point of our area. So he had really good camera footage, but of course you still can't see their faces. But we gave the cops our footage. And our neighbors gave whatever footage that they had. But I believe we were the only family in our area of the neighborhood that actually had one of them go inside the car and whatnot. I don't know about the others, because I haven't heard anything else about I just know that they saw it on their cameras, that people were looking through their cars or trying to open the doors and so forth. But yeah, and with the whole door thing, the whole peephole thing, that wasn't even the first time that ever happened to me. Like I said, in college, there was one time where there was these 2 African American guys, midnight, and they were banging on my door, or my dorm, the door of my dorm. And that was also a scary moment. Like, I've been through a few stuff. I mean, like I said, when I was in college, I had 2 guys knocking on my door in the middle of the night, and they were trying to fumble with my door, trying to open my door. And because like the previous day, there was something that happened to a student where he actually opened the door to these people that he didn't know, and they went into his dorm. They threatened him, they took his stuff, and blah blah. So the school let us know what happened, be vigilant, and blah blah. And plus, like, hello, if I don't know you, I'm not going to open the door. But anyways, that's one of the examples of what I went through by myself. We had a gunman on campus. Now, we weren't really, we were one of the lucky ones that no one was killed, because this gunman was actually, what happened was he stole from a gas station, and then our campus was the closest place that he can run to from the cops, and he went into one of the dorm buildings, and it was one of the newer dorm buildings, and most of them were all freshmen on the first floor, that he was just pacing back and forth, and and it was so crazy that day. I was doing my laundry, my friends were calling me like, hey, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm doing my laundry. Like, you need to get back to your dorm, there's a gunman on campus, they locked everything down, we're in the cafeteria, they locked. And I was like, and thankfully my laundry was done, so I grabbed all my laundry and I ran right back to my dorm. I called my dad. He was the first person I called. He told me, lock your door, close your blinds, and what. And it was crazy. That was definitely one of my top 3 craziest moments of my life, because I didn't know where the gunman was. The gunman could have been close to where I was living, but thankfully he was a little bit further away from where I was. But still, like, it was still a scary moment for everyone. I don't think we were that big on the news because no one was, killed. And I think the whole standoff was like maybe an hour long, until he finally gave up. And then there was that time where it was a freshman who got killed by the cop, and he was like fully naked. He was on drugs. Even Pierce Morgan talked about him when that happened. I mean, I'm telling you, I've been through a lot of stuff by myself, but this, as a first time going through something as a family, that really affected me more, because anything could have happened to my dad, my mom, to me. I mean, and I'm so grateful I wasn't awake during that time, because if I had looked, because usually I'm a night owl, okay, I have to be honest. So sometimes I do stay awake because either I have to work, or like, it could be different, many reasons, but most of the time I like being a night owl. So I would have been like freaking out if I was looking at the cameras, because I do look at the cameras at nighttime, because that's when I see a notification saying, oh, there's something at the front door, oh, like that creeps me out at nighttime, so I will watch the footage. But during the day we get so many notifications about, like, oh, there's something at the front door, whatever, and like it could be just leaves moving, like especially on the side of our house we have a lot of plants, so it could just be the wind moving so it gets annoying. But I have to say I'm grateful that we have cameras because of what happened. But that's the whole story, guys. So, moral of the story, don't forget to lock your doors. If you have to check 5 times that you locked your car doors, do it 5 times, because it is not worth the hassle of dealing with something like this. But it's incredible how since the pandemic started, the crime wave is just getting worse and worse and worse. I mean, our rental house in Kissimmee, where I grew up, it's an open neighborhood. It wasn't an HOA or nothing. And that's the type of neighborhood where I thought something bad could have happened to us, like whether it's a burglary or whatever, but nothing like that ever happened to us when I was living there as a kid. I mean, probably the worst thing we ever went through was Hurricane Charlie in that area. But our neighborhood here, it's not a gated community, but it's an HOA community. And we live in a city where there's a lot of retirees. I live in Claremont, so most Central Floridians know Claremont as one of those retiree cities. We are the second highest what do you call that, land? Mount Dora is like the number 1 highest peak. There you go. Mount Dora is the highest peak of Florida. We are the second highest peak of Florida. And another fun fact is the Waterboy movie, Adam Sandler, some parts of that movie was filmed here in Claremont, so which I thought was cool. But anyways, so our neighborhood, we probably had 3 different types of crimes in every 6 years, because I can think of the first incidents of a kid going into people's garage and stealing stuff. Another incident of and this okay, yeah, the second incident, because the third incident is the whole door ding dong. The second incident is we didn't even know until we had cops surrounding the house next to us. We had no idea that our neighbor were drug dealers, which made sense of why they had 3 motorcycles, really nice cars. I mean, they looked like they were really well off, and that makes sense now. But yeah, I mean, so crime for us here in our neighborhood was pretty rare, because it was always like every 6 years something happened. But to happen to us, like, I still can't. It's crazy. It really, really is. So that's why I had to I couldn't do any filming. I needed time by myself to go through what we went through, or to deal with what we are currently dealing with. So we haven't heard anything from the cops, nothing new. But they did tell us that they probably won't come back to this neighborhood. because they did tell us that it is happening all over Claremont. So I guess they're just, I don't know if it's every night or every week they're going to different neighborhoods and doing that. But yeah, guys, be careful, be vigilant. And I don't know when I'm gonna post a new video. I'm like super busy. I'm trying to keep myself busy because like I really don't want to think about what happened anymore. Like I'm just trying to keep busy. But anyways, that's what happened. And like I said, I'm grateful that no one was hurt. So I will see you guys hopefully in a video coming soon to you. Bye guys.